Greetings, I'm Thomas Caldwell of the Aurelian Column, and this is the Book Report. There's an old saying that good things come in threes, and books are no exception to that. I'm going to talk to you about three books. I'm speaking of what are known as the prequel Legends of Dune series, written by Brian Herbert and Kevin J. Anderson. Now, just about everybody knows of Dune. There's recently been a couple of movies based on the book that came out in 1965, written by the late Frank Herbert, a true classic of that genre. There's an awful lot to the book that many people don't pick up. Again, a lot of people don't read the book, which is quite extensive, to say nothing of the massive amount of material that's been produced, not only by the late Mr. Herbert, but by his son and his son's co-author, Kevin Anderson. The universe of Dune is a place that most people don't realize is completely devoid of computers. There are no what they call thinking machines. In other words, no computers, no AI, no mechanisms that will mimic the thoughts of man. In fact, in the world of Paul Atreides and Arrakis and the sandworms, it's considered a death penalty offense to create or have possession of a computer. And a lot of people don't go into how the story came to that. And that occurs 10,000 years prior to the Dune universe that we see on screen and read in the books written by Mr. Herbert. The three books I'm referring to are The Butlerian Jihad, The Machine Crusade, and The Battle of Corran. These books came out in 2002, 2003, and 2004, and in many respects they are superior to what Mr. Herbert came up with in the 60s and 70s. This is all about something that many of us are concerned with these days, and that is AI. You see, before we got to the Dune that we all know and love, humanity went through a 1,000-year conflict with robotic intelligence, massive battles where billions of people were killed. Humanity made the horrifying mistake of relying on machines to do most of their work, and instead of developing their own minds, their own bodies, and their own thoughts, they relied on machines to do it. Eventually, they had to get to the point where they had to throw off the oppressor that they themselves had created. And what you have in these books are battle scenes that Hollywood could never hope to duplicate, and storylines and philosophy and religion and all the things that makes the human story so interesting. But the reason I'm recommending these three books is because it shows exactly where things can go if we rely too much on technology and not enough on ourselves. There's a great deal of philosophy with the Dune series. Many books have been written. Mr. Herbert, I believe it was 6 that he wrote, and very few people get past the second or third one. But they're all worth reading because they were able to combine all the philosophies and all the history of humanity and present it in a way that really gets you down at the soul. But as we're fighting with what the future will be with artificial intelligence, these three books, and I would recommend you read them in the order in which I stated them, explain what can happen and how hard it can be to throw it off. And we're just one planet. Humanity had already spread to the stars when they decided to give in to AI. Now, science fiction can be a great escape, and this is no exception to that tendency, but these books are very timely given what we are facing now. A lot of people think of AI as a fancy way to come up with fun memes or movies or all sorts of fantasy stuff I won't elaborate on, but if you've been on the internet, you've seen some of it. People coming up with all sorts of bizarre things, or companies using it to come up with advertising schemes and all these other fun things. But it's important to look at this futuristic horror story set far in the future where humanity is in for the fight of its existence. As you can probably imagine, though, considering this is 10,000 years in the past where these books take place, of the Dune universe, where you saw Paul Atreides, Muad'Dib, doing his thing on the desert planet of Arrakis against sandworms and other sorts of things, humanity does make it, but just barely. These are books that I would strongly urge you to buy the hard copy of because someday they will be considered classics. I myself have first editions of all three. But they're also available on audiobooks at Audible and, of course, Kindle and other forms of electronic book reader. The publisher is Tor Books. Again, the titles are The Butlerian Jihad, The Machine Crusade, and The Battle of Corinth. And if you're a fan of Dune, these are definitely a must-read. That's it for today. Until we meet again, be good, be safe, be vigilant, and good day.